After 5 years of marriage, I finally gave birth to a daughter. The entire family was overjoyed. My mother-in-law, Margaret Johnson, was especially eager to help take care of my daughter, allowing me to focus on my career without any worries. Just as I was about to hand my daughter over to her, I suddenly heard a small voice. "Mummy, please don't give me to that old lady, she'll sell me." I was stunned when I heard that voice. I looked around, the TV was off, and there were no other devices playing anything. Was it just my imagination? "Emily, what are you thinking? Hurry up and give the baby to me," Margaret urged impatiently. My daughter, Lily, had just turned 3 months old. Ever since her arrival, the whole family had dotted on her, and I had stayed by her side every moment. But now, my workplace was pressing me to return, and though I didn't want to part with Lily, my mother-in-law volunteered to take care of her, so I could concentrate on advancing my career. With Margaret's kind expression in front of me, I thought I must have been imagining things. As I prepared to hand my daughter over again, that small voice rang out once more. "Mummy, don't give her to that old woman. She'll sell me as a child bride." I jolted, quickly pulling my daughter close and watching Margaret warily. I had clearly heard that voice. Moreover, it sounded like my daughter's thoughts, though I wasn't sure what was happening. I couldn't take any chances. "Emily, what do you mean by this?" Margaret's tone turned icy. "I'm just trying to help you out, Pa. Old woman, your so-called help is clearly just a scheme to sell me off to make room for your other grandson." That innocent voice sent a chill down my spine. I struggled to compose myself and replied calmly, "Mum, I've thought about it. Lily is still very young and needs her mother around. I'll have another word with my boss about work." Margaret's face stiffened for a moment before she forced a smile and said, "Look, work can't be delayed. I can take care of my granddaughter, so you can focus on your career. Thanks for your kindness, Mum, but I'd prefer to stay with Lily a bit longer." With that, I ignored Margaret's displeased expression and retreated to my room. Once I locked the door, I placed Lily in her crib and softly asked, "Baby Lily, was that you talking to Mummy just now?" Lily babbled away, waving her tiny hands and feet. I waited for a moment, but I didn't hear that voice again. Sitting beside the crib, I tried to calm my racing thoughts. The voice I'd heard earlier claimed that Margaret wanted to sell Lily to make space for her other grandson. Margaret only had one son, my husband Andrew. If she had another grandson out there, it meant that my husband was cheating, too. I met Andrew during our university days. At first, I didn't like him and clearly rejected his advances, but he didn't give up, pursuing me for 2 whole years. Eventually, I was touched by his persistence, and we entered a relationship. A year after graduating, we got married. After marriage, I longed for children, but Andrew insisted we were both in our career prime and that having a child would impact our work, so our intimacy was scarce, and whenever it did happen, precautions were taken. Then, about a year ago, one evening we both got a bit too tipsy, forgot to take precautions, and I ended up pregnant. I was thrilled. At first, Andrew seemed a little hesitant, but soon he was just as excited, buying toys and baby clothes, saying he couldn't wait to meet our little miracle. Now that I thought about it, was it possible Andrew hadn't wanted children because he already had a son elsewhere? "Darling, I'm back." As I pondered this, I heard the sound of the door opening, followed by a knock. "Honey, are you in there? Why is the door locked?" I walked over, opened the door, and smiled. I must have locked it without realizing. "What brought you home so early today?" "I'm lucky today. No late meetings, so I rushed back to see my beautiful wife and our precious daughter." Andrew wrapped me in a big hug before walking over to the crib to gently lift Lily into his arms. "Hey, little one, did you miss Daddy?" I stayed close, unwilling to let my guard down for even a moment. Lily waved her hands and feet energetically. "Don't touch me with your dirty hands, you scoundrel, you horrible father, Pa." I gasped in shock. The voice of my daughter returned. "What are you pretending to be? A good husband and father? Your other son is 6 years old. You come home late every day, saying it's work, but you're actually out with your mistress and your illegitimate son. Pa, I can't stand to look at you." At that moment, Lily suddenly closed her eyes. Her tiny fists clenched tightly, as if exerting effort. I was still reeling from the previous words when Andrew suddenly exclaimed, "Ugh, she just peed on me." I snapped back to reality, noticing Andrew's face twisted in disgust and hatred. No normal father would look like that, even if a 3-month-old baby had an accident on him. I held back my anger and heartbreak, taking Lily from him, saying, "I forgot to change her nappy earlier." Andrew rushed out to clean himself up as I changed Lily. I heard her voice again. "Mummy, you're so pitiful. You've been kept in the dark for years. Your own daughter could have been sold off and suffered, and now you'll have to take care of that mistress's son. Once he's grown, those beasts will work together to destroy you both. They're living it up on our corpses." My hands trembled uncontrollably. The weight of those words was overwhelming, but I forced myself to digest it all. From what I gathered from Lily's thoughts, it seemed Margaret had pretended to want to help me care for Lily but actually aimed to sell her off in secret, and Andrew, while playing the perfect husband and father, had a mistress and even a 6-year-old son.